Women's college basketball is on the rise, baby. Woo!
It's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about.
Hey,
Yes,
listen.
sir.
Hey, listen. You see my shirt? There are no off nights for a reason.
All right, man. Let's officially crack into the show, man. This is the Final Four table. I'm Coach Will.
I'm Coach Cord.
Peter London.
And Coach Mo will be joining us later live from the Women's 2026 College Basketball Convention. Hey, man, this was two of the better games in one Final Four. But with that being said, Final Four is done. It's no more guessing. Matter of fact, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and hide because the results are in. And as a true UConn fan, man, we're mourning. We're mourning today, okay? All right. UCLA handled business with Texas. South Carolina controlled UConn like no other team but themselves. We'll get to that, Pete. Man, let's jump right into the Final Four table. I want to start off with the first game, UConn, South Carolina. In one word, man, how y'all feeling about like that matchup?
Extraordinary.
Explosive.
What's your word? What's your word? Give me your word. What you think?
Sad.
Okay.
Sad, man. But I have to give you guys your credit, man. Pete, Corey, you both were totally right about this game. Don Staley came with a plan, and the X Factor really showed up. So I'm going to step out of the way. Corey, how did Don do it?
Through defense. She had a really good defensive plan on how to slow Sarah Strong down and to make others to have to hit tough shots. She had her girls really prepared and really ready to play, to hold them under 50 points, where they're averaging 80, 90 points a game. To slow that three-headed monster down, I think that was really big. Defense, and defense wins championships, and you've seen it win the game.
To piggyback off what Corey said, defense. They were unbelievable. I think we talked about the X factor. Got McKeer gave me those feelings of Sanaya Rivers in 2022. The second time that Geno and a UConn team has been held under 50 points in a Final Four / national championship. The other time was that game in Minnesota against that Zaya Cook. You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah Ball. I mean, that team had a lot of firepower, but defensively was very sound. That was very, you know, said to see those numbers, and it was almost identical score. I think it was 63 to 40, 49 or 47 at that point, and last night was 62 to 48. Very identical in regards to what you need to do to slow down a Geno run team with multiple offensive options and do those things. One thing I will say is Blanca Quinones getting into foul trouble, very, very key in the continuity of their offense. Having that third legit option offensively. Blanca hit a three, started cooking, got another foul in that third quarter. Her abilities are going to be really on the main stage next year. Her and Sarah being those wing forwards, switching up inside, outside, being able to shoot the three and do all that really gives a high level of versatility for the future of UConn basketball. Nothing but respect for UConn. Obviously, everyone knows the Sarah Strong relationship, you know what I'm saying, and what I have with Danny, Allison, Feaster, and the whole family. Nothing but respect for her. Everybody else at UConn. The future of UConn basketball is obviously very bright in regards to what they're bringing in. McDonald's All-Americans like Olivia Vukosa, who is going to be big, having that pivot, that five, that can shoot the ball, can handle the ball. There's going to be a lot of, you know, bright days for UConn. Yesterday, it was just a heavyweight bout out there, and South Carolina came out on top.
Where do y'all feel like the adjustment happened in South Carolina?
A little bit of where they started doubling Sarah down in the box, and can't remember the young lady. I want to say it's number 4. Was trying to force it into her. I think that kind of like changed the game a little bit, and then just a little more of a physical play of basketball just started to give them a little more of a spunk. That's where I think that piece started to happen?
I think rebounding. And I said this early on, myself and my wife. My wife's a University of South Carolina grad, so she was out there. South it had nothing to do with my pick in this whole situation, but it was a good night last night after South Carolina.
Now we know why Pete went that way. Now we know.
No factor into me. I'm gonna read you the numbers here without having Mo. Mo's usually the number guy in the situation, right? Total rebounds: South Carolina 39, UConn 27. You know, I had the opportunity to talk with Charlie Edwards, Joyce Edwards' dad, earlier today. I said there was a moment in the game in that second, third quarter, and even into the fourth. Joyce and I want to say the girl's name. I want to say it right. Sahara Williams. They had some moments where they were going very much powering into each other for position to see who was going to get it. And Joyce only had 8 rebounds. It felt like it was more because of the effort that went into controlling the board throughout the whole game. Tania Latson had 11 rebounds.
When you have a guard with 11 rebounds,
yes,
like that is big. That's big.
Tania Latson went 10 for 10 from the free throw line. Hey, she came here for Final Four. No, she came here for a chip, and she played like that last night. A couple times, she got a little bit out in transition and went 1-on-2 and could have held up. But at the end of the day, when you look at the full result of her game and how much passion, effort that she played with and the results of it, shout out to Tania Latson, man. Absolutely played a great game last night. And I think Rebecca Lobo at one point said that her defense has improved. When Tania Latson graduated high school in the class of 2022, she was the elite perimeter defensive player in America. But that girl been locking people up since middle school out there. The Hawaiian assassin. For real. That girl has always been elite defensive ability. So I got to say, I'm sorry, Rebecca Lobo. You don't know what you're talking about on this one. She been like that. She was scoring buckets at Florida State. She was still locking people up. She just ain't have the help down there.
We have to jump into probably the biggest story right now. It shouldn't have been with the incident in Don and Geno.
Go ahead, Corey.
It's poor sportsmanship because those young ladies have worked very hard all year long to get to this point and to win a game and have the chance to play in a national championship, and for it to be belittled with however you feel at the time and taken away from the game, opposed to giving those young ladies their flowers and shaking their hand. I really didn't respect it. We teach our kids all the time to, no matter what, stand up and have sportsmanship. And as a big-time coach, figurehead to the women's basketball, I think you have to have do better with that. There's a lot of eyes, young eyes, watching that game.
I'm 100% in agreement with you, Corey, on that. A lot of eyes. The manner of which Geno approached that situation, even if you were upset about something that happened before the game, you obviously were upset when you spoke with Holly Rowe after the third quarter about what you perceived to be missed calls on Sarah Strong, where he misread the situation about her jersey being ripped, and he was steaming about that. It was a buildup, I believe, of situations that bubbled over at the end of the game. Some of the things he was misunderstood in regards to what was happening and how it pertained to his team, and he let the emotions overflow in that moment. It was a bad look for women's basketball. I mean, there's been situations. I mean, think about John Chanley and John Calipari going at each other in that post-game press conferences. It's got to be, 25, 30 years ago, right? In the post-game press conference, and John Chaney, may rest in peace, went at him on talking about, I'm gonna kick your butt, right? Right? But that was post-game. It didn't boil over on the floor, and what Geno did in that moment, it just tainted what the game elevated women's basketball to in that moment. I thought the game itself, the strategy by Dawn, the execution by the players on the floor was excellent. You know, unfortunately for UConn, they couldn't hit enough shots. They couldn't execute well enough in that moment to give themselves a chance at the end of the game. You know, it kind of got away with them in the last couple of minutes, but excellently played by both sides. And I think that moment, that misjudgment by Geno, kind of tainted what happened on the floor last night.
I totally agree with y'all, both. I want to say that. I agree with both of y'all as we spoke earlier. I don't think Geno was as mad as the situation is more of him putting up a smoke screen in front of how his team played last night, but also throughout this whole Final Four. And again, I'm not saying it's right, but I just know that Madison Booker had to answer some questions after her game that necessarily Sarah Strong didn't have to answer.
Okay.
So that's my situation of it. Madison Booker had to sit up there and they tried to ask her the questions, and her point guard stood up for her. Hey man, she's human. But the fact of the matter is, because Geno is calculated at times, not saying that this may have been a best calculated moment, but he's calculated when trying to protect his team. I think he turned all the Sarah Strong questions that now will be answered later or asked to her later. That's it. I just think I just don't think he was that mad about that. I just think he wanted to cause something. I don't think he quite knew it would be this big, but I think he knew that it would take away the attention of Sarah Strong pretty much having somewhat of a performance, and I ain't saying number-wise or stat-wise, but pretty much the same performance as a Madison Booker when you're looking at that stage.
Does that make Sarah Strong a better basketball player or a better person to deflect that and not let her feel that right now and go through it?
Well, that's not a judgment call that we can make. That's a judgment call that Geno made because Geno know them personally away from basketball and what. So I think everything that he was doing, he made that decision. He knows that he's Geno, and no matter what happens, he's going to be Geno. Not only are you building young basketball players, but you're helping them build their brand. I think Geno and all that.
I'm with it. I'm with that.
Real quick, do you think it was strategy that Don didn't come out? Or just he came out, chilled, then left?
I don't think there was any discrepancy on the timing of it because they showed the videos of them at the time that they were saying the coaches were out there. She was out there. So I think Geno's just trying to make it something that it wasn't to try to create exactly what you said, Will. He's trying to create a distraction from the obvious of the lack of elite performance last night. And it leads right into what you said earlier about him trying to deflect and all, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is.
This right here, this game right here was Bud Crawford because nobody believed this. So in this jump, UCLA showed up like Bud Crawford. I'ma just jump right into it, man. How do you feel? Just like we was feeling like Bud was sitting there controlling every jump, how do y'all feel like UCLA controlled every punch? Pete, let's start with you.
Lauren Betts is elite. Anybody who's questioning and says she don't score enough, she don't do this, Lauren Betts is elite. She showed that yesterday in her performance on both sides of the court, blocking shots at the end of the game, being consistent offensively. Absolutely big-time performance from her.
Pete, let's pause it. Let's pause it for 1 second. I'm sorry to cut you out. We got Coach Mo joining live from the Women's College Basketball 2026 Coaches Conference. Coach Mo, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Coach Yo doing an on-court segment right now. I don't know if you can see the background. Coach Yo from Ole Miss doing an on-court segment, man. Really teaching something about the offense.
It's over, man. It's over. Okay, yeah.
Let me see how I put it around.
I gotta. We live, baby. We live.
Let me see. Trying to turn my camera
Phoenix,
around.
Man.
WBCA 2026 right here, baby.
Push the camera button.
Y'all see it?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
So that's Coach.
Yeah, I can hear Coach Yo's voice.
Yeah. That's Coach Yo, man. All the coaches in here, man. Beautiful event. Every coach in the country is here, just mingling, networking, learning. A lot of learning sessions upstairs. A lot of opportunity to, grow yourself, grow your program, network, meet people. Some people got job opportunities. Some people, just good to see good people and just bounce ideas, man.
So, man, we just finished talking about South Carolina dominating, UConn. Hey, listen, hold up. I had my glasses on because it was a funeral, It was a funeral for us, man. What's your thoughts? Give us some quick thoughts. I know you got to get back to, the conference. Give us your quick thoughts, man.
I'm going to tell you this, man. My thoughts on the South Carolina UConn game is I realized I was watching the game with people, and I realized that midway through the third, I said, I have to take my vote back. Not only that, but UConn can't win this game. I literally said it. I promise. You can ask the person that was next to me. If I find them, I'll show. I say UConn can't win. They don't have enough between that 3-headed monster. I said, and I just looked at the people on the court. Literally, the people. I say, look at these 5 people that are on the court right now. South Carolina's 5 people are just better than UConn's 5 people, yo. And I just took it as that, and I didn't read no more into it. And I saw offensive rebound, athleticism, matchups continue to be just dog alone. Like outside of Sarah Strong and AZ, nobody else is even mentioned.
Jesus.
And they didn't have a good game. So that tells you how even worse it was. A 39-point difference in their season average is crazy. So that was it, man. South Carolina was tougher, longer, more athletic, everything across the board.
Hey, look, one last question before you get out. How did UCLA stop Madison Booker, man?
They contested her mid-range very, very well. Like every mid-range shot she shot, somebody was up under her in her space. And I mean, she did what she normally does, but I just saw it was just a little less space than she normally had, is what it looked like to me. And she did why I love Madison Booker. She went 3 for 25. 3 for 20, I think 3 for 22 or 3 for 23, something like that. But I was like, to win this game, she got to go 5 for 25. She go 5 for 25, they win. And I wouldn't be mad because that's exactly what she should do in her position for who she is. And she walked off the court knowing that she left it all out there. But I will say this, man. Last thing about Madison Booker. She has some kind of leg thing going on. And I don't know what it is. The last couple games that I watched of her, she seems to lose a flat tire once or twice a game where she just driving and her legs just give out. And now she got a wrap on it. And I was like, what is that about? I noticed it 2 games ago. I don't know if that was a part of the problem is what I'm getting at. I don't know if that's why she wasn't full strength or didn't have her elevation. But yeah.
Look, man, we ain't going to hold you, bro. Enjoy the conference.
My man.
Enjoy,
Safe,
bro.
man, for sure.
All right.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks, Coach Mo.
Yep.
Oh, that was a moment right there, man.
That was great,
right
man.
In the
That was
WBCA
great.
convention with Coach Yo on the floor. Right. That's it.
That was great. That was great. And we might well just piggyback right off of where Coach Mo was talking with how they was closing out and being very aggressive with Madison Booker. But I want to say, Coach Corey, you said it, that Coach Corey would be ready. And I once stated that UCLA was probably the least versatile team. I think they're probably the most versatile team.
I agree with you because remember what I said, what did we learn about them?
Yeah.
We talked about what we learned about them. Everyone was like, are they a number 1 seed or they're not? But I really think they showed you what a true number 1 seed is, going through the ups and downs of the tournament, having to go through certain roles, because if you know it, and as the years we watch this tournament, number 1 seed one of them has like this rocky road that they have to go through. It makes them either the national champ or they end up in the Final 4 game because they'll be so battle tested. Like we talked about with South Carolina, defense. And I don't think Texas respected Lauren Betts as much as they should have. Because I remember something, I don't know if it was Coach Mo or you, Pete, where you said they'll be able to allow Lauren Betts to catch the ball
and sit behind her and allow her to catch it and play her. I thought they were going to push her out a little bit.
You can't because of her elite scoring ability on the box and her passing ability. Like when you have post players that elite, you can't allow them to touch the basketball that's like letting Tim Duncan touch the basketball.
Yeah.
He fundamentally created for everybody.
I want to make a point about this now. I wrote this down because I really, truly believe this about what UCLA showed last night. Gabriela Jaquez and Dugalich combined is elite. Those 2 girls got every 50-50 together what they did because they're kind of like a 3-4 combo, both of them. You know what I'm saying? Like Jaquez does a lot more ball handling. Dugalich is more of a get on the block, set screens. She can handle the ball a little bit. They both were kind of like 2 scrappers who absolutely were scrapping at the highest level last night in that game. Dugalich, I think they were talking about it during the game. There was an opportunity for her to potentially be a starter. And she was like, I'm going to come off the bench because as long as I have my defined role, I'm going to do my best in that role. Won the Big Ten 6th Person of the Year this year. And throughout the tournament, has been making plays. She had a block on Madison Booker that was one of the replays last night, and it eventually showed that it came off Madison Booker's hand. After she blocked the shot on Booker, it came off of like her forearm and went out of bounds because they originally called it off UCLA. That's the kind of stuff that allows a team like UCLA to play for a national championship. And the numbers don't matter when the effectiveness push you through to the national championship game like that.
The national championship is set. UCLA, South Carolina. With the way both of these teams are playing, who will set the tempo? I can't even make a pick because I don't really like. I don't know.
I want to say something about the fact that Elise Turnerbees was MIA last night, right? Because of the style of play, the up and down. Okot started the game, and then the next time she was able to get some contributing minutes, it was that offensive rebound putback. Dawn had to say, because of the style of play and what's going on the court, we got to go small. I was surprised I didn't see some Miriam Dowder just come on there to relieve Joyce a little bit, to give her a break and say, hey, you can handle this physically and athletic wise. But the X factor tomorrow is going to be who's going to stop Joyce Edwards. I think that's going to be it in regards to.
I don't think nobody can stop Joyce Edwards right now because I think her confidence level built through that game last night.
Shout out to Joyce Edwards. Here, the stat of the night for me didn't have anything to do with the game, but the season she had. She became South Carolina's all-time single-season point leader last night. She needed 5 points on her 6 point. She became single-season point.
Over Asia Wilson and everybody in Aaliyah Boston.
Single-season point leader in regards to points in a season. I don't know if y'all know, but Shannon Pee Wee Johnson, used to be the GOAT. Before Asia Wilson came and ascended herself on this Mount Rushmore of South Carolina basketball, Shannon Pee Wee Johnson, who used to be the Coker coach, was the GOAT of South Carolina. And I'm not as familiar with all the other names that would have been in that conversation previous to Asia Wilson, but that woman was a BUCKET period in her time at South Carolina. And I think that was the list of, I think it was Asia Wilson and her who had that record of single season points. She broke that last night and now gets a chance to play for her second consecutive national championship in her sophomore year. She's ascending to what is considered to be GOAT status at South Carolina. It was on Instagram and I was like, really?
Shout out.
Yo, South Carolina social media team, they was ready for that moment for her last night. So kudos to y'all too for making sure people knew what she did last night in regards to her career so far. One of the big keys to UCLA being in and eventually having this upset game is going to be Kiki Rice. Kiki Rice, if people don't know, was the DC Gatorade Player of the Year in soccer and basketball, and actually won soccer multiple times in her time playing at Sidwell Friends. Shout out to Mika Dudley, head coach Sidwell Friends, won a Geico National Championship out there. Kiki Rice is going to have to use her physicality and put some of those big-time guards for South Carolina. She's going to have to sit them down on the bench, be aggressive, get some fouls on them, and allow her team to operate without that high-pressure perimeter defense that South Carolina is going to have to apply.
Coach Corey, we got to look at Coach Corey's program very closely, and we've seen it go from different spots. Now she's getting them to the Final Four. She's doing an excellent job accumulating talent through the transfer portal that are helping her make the program elite. And I think she's going to do a good job going through Lauren Betts. I think that's going to be a big piece that South Carolina has to stop, and she's going to make sure that the ball touches her hand to help them win this national championship.
South Carolina is going to have a big task of dealing with Lauren Betts, who's playing at an elite level, but South Carolina's guard and wing play is going to have to impose themselves throughout this moment. That elite perimeter defense, the overall team defense is going to have to continue what they did last night versus UConn and impose that physicality on UCLA. UCLA has their own level of physicality, but South Carolina is going to have to be the ones to take control early in the game, and if they do, that may carry on through the end of the game. That's how they're going to win, through physicality and elite defense.
South Carolina, those guards are going to be the biggest X factor for them. The foot speed of Tessa, Raven, and Latson, I don't think UCLA can really run up and down the floor with them or match that foot speed. I think that's going to be a big, big issue in this game. So I think that'll be if South Carolina wins this game, I think that's going to be a big piece to it.
Before I get out of here, though, because y'all two like to run, Pete, we already know you're going with. It's tough for you, Corey. It's a tough one for you because you like both of them. Pete, who you going with in the matchup?
South Carolina. Joyce Edwards, Tanai Latson, Agat McKeer. South Carolina wins it. They are in the running for MOP. You know what I'm saying? They're the only 3 double-digit scorers from last night. Joyce Edwards, I believe, again, you know what I'm saying? Will always talks about it. Those 2 players I support. I mean, so I'm going with Joyce Edwards to be the MOP and have a dominant performance tomorrow.
One thing about Dawn that I really like, she is able to get the best out of players, because for you to bring in the #1 scorer in the country and get her to play a role and not just shoot the ball, and your time will come when you can elevate us over the hump. That's types of coaching is what wins championships. I like UCLA. I really do. I've been on their side. I think they went all the way to where they was going to go, but they didn't have enough.
Say this the last stop.
This
He
is
said, you got to jump off the train.
Hey, listen. The end of the road. Hey, listen, you done met Jamaica. The end of the road is here. They've done a great job. Lauren Betts is a force. He willed her team to this point. She made them believe. But sometimes the other people on the other end is just better. And them guards are just better. It would be an upset. It is a upset. And it's crazy. I'm going to say this. With it being 2 #1 seeds, it's an upset if UCLA beats South Carolina.
I'm going to stay down the middle. I really don't know. I'm still in
Are you not choosing?
Funeral mode.
You don't want to mourn no more.
That's been another great episode. One more to go with this season. I'm Coach Will.
I'm Coach Corey.
Peter London.